Your brain is like a supercomputer, and your self-talk is a program it will run. So if you tell yourself you're not good at remembering names, you will not remember the name of the next person you meet because you programmed your supercomputer not to. They say the two most powerful words in the English language are also the smallest, I am. Because whatever you put after that, complete that sentence with, is going to determine your destination, your destiny. And I also feel like you have to fall in love again with the person in the mirror who has been through so much.
Ever feel like your own mind is working against you? That little voice inside keeps telling you, you're not good enough, or you can't remember names. Well, it's time to take back control. Today, we're diving into proven mental hacks to end negative self-talk and reprogram your brain for success. Featuring insights from Mylett and Kwik. Your brain is like a supercomputer, and guess what? Your self-talk is the software. What you say to yourself is what you'll become. If you tell yourself, I'm bad with names, your brain listens. That's right. You're literally programming yourself to forget the name of the next person you meet.
Because I really believe life happens for us, not to us. And it's the meaning in our life of the events that happen to us, not the event, but the meaning we take from it. And so you've become this world-renowned expert. You've worked with the Dalai Lama, Richard Branson, right? Some of the highest profile celebrities in the world, most successful business people. But it's ironic that that was founded out of a boy with a broken brain, right? And that was because you had fallen and hurt your head, is that right? Like a 5-year-old? Or tell us that story real quick.
Yeah.
But what if we told you there's a way to break this negative cycle? What if you could reprogram your brain to work for you instead of against you? Stick around because we're about to show you how. Mylett emphasizes that the two most powerful words in the English language are I am. Why? Because whatever you attach to I am becomes your reality. Think about it. If you keep saying, I am not good at this, you're limiting yourself. But if you change that narrative to, I am capable, I am worthy, or I am improving, you'll start to see a shift.
You know, if anything, we were taught a lie, that somehow our capabilities, our potential, our memory, for instance, our learning abilities, or intelligence is somehow fixed, like our shoe size.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely not true. We've discovered more about the human brain in the past 20 years than the previous 2,000 years combined. And what we found is we've grossly underestimated our own potential, our own capabilities. And that's the thing, it's just because we weren't taught. And I really think the nature of the work that you do, that I do, that our community is really backing, is about transcending. It's about ending the trance.
Wow.
Transcend, end the trance, ending this mass hypnosis in media and marketing that's telling us that we're broken, that we need to be fixed, that we're not enough. And I feel like that is what's holding us back, you know, this illusion, if you will.
You need to fall in love with the person in the mirror. That person has been through so much but is still standing. Positive self-talk isn't about ignoring challenges, but about giving yourself the courage to face them. Now, let's talk about memory and focus.
Your ability to learn faster and translate that learning into action is the ultimate competitive advantage. It is a real-life superpower. So everyone write down max out. The M stands for your mindset. Now you know this because you're here, right? Mindset is everything, right? If you believe you can or believe you can't, either way, what? You're right. And who said that? Henry Ford, right? Somebody came to me just a little while ago and they said, Jim, I have a horrible memory. Jim, I'm so glad you're here because I'm not that smart. And I always say, stop. If you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. If you fight for your limits, you get to keep them, right? So your brain is this incredible supercomputer and your self-talk is the program it will run. So if you tell yourself, I'm not good at remembering names, you will not remember the name of the next person you meet, because you program your supercomputer not to. If people truly understood how powerful their mind is, they wouldn't say, think, or even feel something they didn't want to be true.
Kwik, one of the world's leading experts on brain performance, says that your memory isn't fixed. In fact, anyone can improve their memory with the right techniques. He explains that most of us are taught to believe that we're limited. I'm bad with names, or I'm a slow learner. But that's just another lie your brain tells you. Keep watching because Jim is about to reveal a simple note-taking technique that will improve your retention and transform how you learn. This is something you can start using today.
After that, my parents said I was never the same. I became extremely shy, introverted. I had learning difficulties. I was labeled, and a label is tough, right?
Yeah.
When you're put in special classes, I couldn't understand things. My teachers would repeat themselves 4 or 5 times, and I would pretend to understand.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we do as an adult, because we have this imposter syndrome. We always want to,
Yes.
we want to look good. We don't want to ever make a mistake, which I feel like also holds us back.
Jim Kwik recommends a unique approach to note-taking that taps into both sides of your brain. Draw a line down the center of the page. On the left side, write down the facts, what you're learning. On the right side, write your personal thoughts, questions, and creative ideas. This simple shift engages both logic and creativity, doubling your learning power. The stakes are high. In today's world, information overload is real. We're processing more data than ever before, and if we don't improve how we learn and retain information, we fall behind. But by changing your self-talk and using simple brain hacks, you can level up fast.
Most people would wish for more wishes. That would be the hack, right? If somebody,
That would be the hack.
Aladdin's going to be one wish, you ask for more wishes. But if I was a learning genie and I could help you learn any subject, any skill, anything, what would you want? What would you wish for? You would ask to learn how to learn. I did a program at Google, and I remember hearing this from the chairman said, the amount of information that's been created from the dawn of humanity, since human beings walked the earth to the year 2003, which is only about a decade and a half ago, that amount of information is now created every 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
48 hours online. Think about the blogs, the podcasts, the social media, that much content. Our brain, they say we use such a small potential of it.
Yeah.
We use all our brain,
Okay.
but some people use it more efficiently than other people.
How can you use these mental hacks in real life? Start by becoming aware of your self-talk. Are you programming your brain for success or failure? Then practice these memory techniques. The next time you meet someone, say their name out loud and make an association in your mind. And don't just take notes, make notes. Ask yourself how you can apply what you're learning.
So I recommend everybody takes notes of this specific episode because it boosts retention. People don't realize this. There's a learning curve, but there's also a forgetting curve. Science is saying that within 2 days, just 48 hours of listening to a podcast, reading a book, going to a conference, getting a coaching, 80% of it, up to 80% is lost.
Incredible.
And that's, as somebody who's investing time, energy, treasure into something, to lose all that, and so you want to be able to hold that on.
Okay.
And so one of the ways of doing it is by taking notes. And we did a whole episode on proper note taking, and really one that's more brain friendly.
Okay.
Most people, and what they found is the worst way of taking notes actually is verbatim. And one of the reasons why is because there's just so much information, right? You have 18 pages of word for word. You don't even know what's most important. But they found the best way of actually taking notes were more on keywords and relevancy. So for example, one of the ways of taking notes that I recommend is taking a piece of paper and putting a line straight down the page.
Okay.
And on the left side, what I'm doing is I'm capturing information.
Okay.
Capturing. So we could talk about how to remember names and how to read faster and how to learn skills faster, how to change your habits. That would be on the left-hand column. You're capturing information.
Okay.
But on the right side, instead of capturing, you're creating. What does that mean? It means that you're creating and you're building on this. You're putting your impression. So essentially on the left side, you're taking notes, but on the right side, you're making notes. And there's a clear distinction, right, between just capturing information and actually create the creative process.
Why does that matter?
It matters because if you're, first of all, for focus, a lot of people, when they're listening to something, their mind will go somewhere else. They'll get distracted. So here, instead of it going somewhere else, it goes on the right side of the page, which is, let's say, left side, right brain. Left brain, right brain. Left brain is more logical and words and language and linear. But on the right side is your imagination, it's your creativity. So your creativity could go there. The other thing is it forces you to ask questions. I believe that questions are the answer. I think it's the essential for understanding, for critical thinking, for focus, for learning. If you ever want to read something and let's say people feel absent-minded.
Yes.
They forget where they put things. Their wallet, their purse, their keys, or if not their keys, something larger like their car. You see the people and they're finding, they forget where they park their car. They read a page in a book at the end and forget what they just read. They'll get a name from somebody and they'll just forget it right away. One of the ways to insulate that is to ask questions. Right, to ask questions about something. So for example, when I'm taking notes, I'll capture information on the left side, but on the right side, I'll write questions I have about what I'm learning. I'll ask myself questions like how I'm going to apply it. You know what the biggest challenge I have with the self-help personal development industry is that there's this massive lie that's being spread saying that knowledge is power.
So, what's the big takeaway? You are in control. The voice inside your head doesn't define you unless you let it. Change your self-talk, reprogram your brain, and unlock your full potential. It's time to stop living on autopilot and take charge of your mental software. Want more tips to master your mind? Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future episodes. And remember, you've got the power to reprogram your mind. Use it.
Capturing your thinking, and even the greatest minds out there, they journal. They're always creative. You know, you think about Leonardo da Vinci or Marie Curie, like they had their journals are worth fortunes.
Yes.
Right. And it's interesting asking this question is because they were geniuses. And when I say genius, I don't mean IQ. I mean they're exceptional in their field.
Yes.
Right. Whether it's sports, whether it's technology, finance,
it's a form of genius.
Relationships, interpersonal skills, interpersonal communication. Is it because they're geniuses that they're taking all these notes, or is because they're creating all these notes that make them geniuses, right? And so it's interesting. And so I like to journal, and I think that that's extremely important. And the questions, though, to take knowledge and turn action, 3 main questions I obsess about.
Okay.
Number 1 is, how can I use this?
Okay.
I ask this all the time because I don't learn for the sake of learning. I learn for the sake of some kind of benefit for me or somebody I care about.
Just so I'm staying with you. This would be the right side of the page as I'm taking some notes.
So I'm taking notes, and I'm obsessed about it. So even if I'm not writing it down, even when I'm having a conversation with somebody or listening, I'm in a conversation, how can I use this?
Okay.
And this is the creativity part. It's like, oh wow, these are all the ways I could use this and apply this. The second question I ask religiously is, after I ask, how can I use this? I'm asking myself, why must I use this? Why must I use this? Because here's the thing, a lot of people know what to do, they don't do what they know. You can't come up with one reason, you're not gonna remember. Because reasons reap results. Reasons reap results. Reasons reap rewards, right? Simon Sinek, start with why.
Yes.
Right? Always get into this. So ask yourself why, and the questions that makes all the difference. So first question, how can I use this? And that's the creativity, you come up with all these ideas. Why must I use this? The reasons why. And then the third question I ask a lot is, when will I use this? And I think one of the most powerful productivity performance tools there are calendars, right? It's like that app, calendar app, or if you keep a physical calendar, that's important, because if it's not there, it's not real. Right? You schedule this in, and then it becomes real, and it's going to happen. 89% to 100% of the people listening to this struggle with remembering something basic like somebody's name. Okay. So help us. So I know a little bit of that is what you just shared, that similar technique. So, I mean, in business alone, I can tell you, people's favorite topic is not their sports team or their children or anything. People's favorite topic is them. Right? And one of their favorite sounds is the sound of you saying their name. And oftentimes, most of you in a business setting, you know this, the minute you've heard their name, you've forgotten it, like those car keys that you lose periodically, but you lose their name constantly. And so this concept that you just shared about association with something you already know, is that one of the things you would do to remember a name? It is. Here we go, everybody. So here we go. This is now, you want to take notes on this. I think one of the most important business etiquette, networking, skills, if there was one, is your ability to remember someone's name. Because how are you going to show somebody you're going to care for their business, their future, their finances, their health, whatever it is you have to offer them, if you don't care enough just to remember them? Because what's the message we send to somebody when we ask them for their name again 2 or 3 times?
You're not important.
You're not important, right? And that doesn't matter what you say after that. It's null and void, right? And so people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And here's the thing, and Maya Angelou said it beautifully, people will remember what you say, they won't remember what you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And that's going back to the emotion again, right? And so that caring is everything. Nothing sells like caring. The truth is, you could always remember that name. And that's, so I'm calling people who are watching this on their BS. When you say you're not good at remembering names, that's not true. You just remembered somebody's name. Why? What's the difference? You're motivated. So the M in Max Out, the M stands for motivation. And I would say, how do you do it? Ask yourself questions. You could elevate your level of motivation. You could ask yourself, what's my level of motivation to remember something, or to learn this, or to remember this name? You could say 0 to 10, give it a number, 5. Well, and here's this mind hack. How do I thought experiment, how do I make it turn it from a 5 to a 7?
Okay.
What do I need to think about differently?
Okay.
Like how that person's going to feel, or a business I could create for them, or just, learning these skills better,
Okay.
right? Tony says, what you practice in private, you're rewarded for in public, right?
Yes.
And so maybe it's just a skill that you're practicing. So motivation. I remember I was doing a training in Silicon Valley, and after I was done, somebody comes up to me. It was Bill Gates, and I asked him, like, if you could have any one superpower, what would it be? He's like, Jim, the ability to read faster. And Warren Buffett was like, I've wasted probably 10 years of my life reading slowly. And that's why reading and speed reading is so important, because people spend about 4 hours processing information a day. You think about all the emails and the business plans and the books and all the stuff you have to process.
Yes.
If you could just double your reading speed.
Thank you for watching. Your journey to mastering your mind starts now. Keep learning, keep growing, and max out your potential.